What's it? Mm. Um, did you guys just get out of load shedding now?
No, no. I was just helping out a friend of mine who was going through some mail trouble, and she was explaining to me how she's been friend zoned and the things this guy was saying, and I told her, listen here, everything that this dude just said to you, I've used those exact lines, and he is bullshitting you and he's playing you hard. Like, but it's just tough
Cards.
to. It's just. It's just tough to say because I don't smart to be the bearer of bad news, man.
But you need to, otherwise she's, gonna ignore the red flags and see it as green flags.
Yeah, and this guy's out here using like obviously the reverse psychology, but not the you get guys that will talk cock to you to get into your pants. Then
Mm.
you get but then
Mm-hmm.
you get guys that are like emotional terrorists that want to keep you on a lane, and
Mm.
like you won't be
They
able to
get a
find
kick out of that.
and you won't be able to find happiness because you're still holding on to this potential with them, and there's
Mm.
focal potential with them.
Yeah, promising
So,
you the world but delivering nothing.
so he's one of those emotional terrorist guys. I was just like, sure, what a dickhead.
Anyway, we'll get into it. Welcome to another episode of the Guys Next Door, episode 6. Hello to the neighborhood. Another week has gone by, and yeah, shout out to the YouTubers, the TikTokers, the commenters, the likers, all of those sort of things. You know what I mean? That being said, how was your guys' week? How was your guys' weekend? Let's get it started off there. Nathan, you
I'm
go.
gonna say it's the first Springbok game I've watched from start to finish in, and I'll kid you not, probably 7 to 8 years. So good weekend for me.
Damn.
This is the start of my journey back to becoming a Springbok supporter, and it started off well. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the game was entertaining. Like I watched the
Mm,
first half of the Fiji game straight after, and that was far more entertaining than what the Box were doing. But
for
the Box
sure.
got the Box got the result, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go, Booker.
No, that's good. That's good. Let's hope that you sustain that interest and that it doesn't happen every 4 years. But it's a good start. watch, watch the Romania game. Watch the Romania game. I think
Are we,
you'll be
do
very
we
interested in
now?
that.
Are we playing now every weekend? What's the
We
schedule
are
like?
we play next week Sunday, so it's a double header for me. I believe Arsenal's playing Everton at 5:30, and the Springboks are playing Romania at 9 o'clock the evening.
Oh, that's
On that
perfect. That's
Sunday.
perfect.
Two easy games, man. They both W's, surely.
Yeah. We should run away with it. Luke, how's your week? How's your weekend?
No, weekend was good. Yeah, the box got the result. Didn't play the best. I have my criticisms. I'd also like to hear your opinion on the Bok game. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think the real test will be with Ireland. So I'm looking forward to that game. And did you watch the Fiji and the Wales game?
I watched the first half as well. Obviously, I started early the morning with my rituals, my songs, and just I was by the time at the end of the game, by the time the end of the game came, I was like depleted
Ran
in
out of
terms of
steam.
energy.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's I hate to talk about age every week on the pod, but yo, it's a motherfucker.
catching up.
So obviously, because I'm catching up with regards to my Springbok knowledge. There used to be a time where I could tell you all the players. I could tell you all the players in the New Zealand team and the Australian team. But at the moment, like obviously, I was watching. Was it Mani the book that was missing all the conversions and stuff?
Yeah.
Since when do
Mm.
the Springboks not have a decent kicker? You telling me in our whole country we can't find a decent goal kicker in our team?
but the thing is with that, it's not just about goal kicking. Like in today's day and age, or it's always been like that. It's always good to have a number 10 that can kick, that has good accuracy, to kick for poles. But you also need a general. You also need someone that can get the backline going and create opportunities for the backline. And that's sort of what Mani brings to the table in South Africa in terms of creativity and, being in those big games, those finals. Mani has the most experience after Andre Pollard, and obviously Andre Pollard was injured, and that's why he couldn't go to the World Cup. He wasn't picked as a part of the squad. But I mean, I was also on that Mani bashing train. But then I heard Sia Kolisi's press conference today about kicking to poles. It's like, and I agree with him. If one player isn't, doing well in a certain area, it's it's a team sport. So it's the job of the rest of the team to come together to pick up for him. If the hooker isn't throwing the ball straight in the line out, it's not like he does it on purpose. But then it's up to the rest of the team to, pick him up and to really push for him.
100%. I
so
just want to
Mani
correct
must.
you though. I did.
Yeah.
You said I was also on the Mani bashing train. I'm not on no bashing train here, sir. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm saying, as a country, especially the Springboks that I've come to formally know and love, like, how is it possible that we don't have a kicker available to us in our starting 15? Like, I don't care if it's Mani, I don't care if it's the fullback, I don't care if it's the winger or the scrum half that's kicking, but don't you agree that when we come up against the bigger teams like in Ireland, like a France, that we are going to need that option available to us if we are going to potentially win this World Cup?
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. Once you get to the latter stages of the World Cup, those sort of critical kicks come into play.
100%.
That being said, if you look at the 2019 World Cup, if Andre Pollard missed all of his kicks, no, not all of his kicks, but if he missed a lot of his kicks, we would have still won that
Won the World Cup.
the World Cup in the final. Yeah, we would have still won that final. So I've heard that they're going to look into other options. I mean, even in yesterday's game, Faf de Klerk started kicking the poles. So yeah, just have to
That was a
find a way.
decent kick. That was a decent kick
Yeah,
when he did.
it was a
take
very
over.
good kick. Very good kick.
But I think also on that note, like I think the box will also, I think they're slowly starting to, or the idea of changing the style of play. So even if Mani's kicking is not great, the option to always go for lineouts or scrums could be an option because
For
we're so
sure.
dominant. We have such a dominant pack. So there's
For
always
sure.
one way to work around it.
Definitely. And there's a lot of creativity at the moment with regards to the lineout, with regards to the back line as well. We finally have a back line that's very attacking minded. So yeah, we're gonna have to rely on them. But also the World Cup's in full swing. A lot of upsets. New Zealand losing to France. I don't know if that is an upset. But as things stand at the moment, it sounds very weird, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I would much rather play New Zealand in the quarterfinals than France, because the support that the French are getting at the moment is crazy. Like, they are really, that whole country's behind them. So yeah, I think that just gives them the edge.
The rugby landscape has changed so much since the last time I watched. I cannot believe that we live in a world where people are saying, I would rather play New Zealand in the quarterfinals than France.
That's crazy.
It's a different sport now, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I think it encourages the excitement around it, the new fans as well. Like you said, Fiji is doing really, really well, and they historically
that
haven't
game?
been a good team.
Who won that game?
Wales.
Fiji and Wales won. The ref was a bit controversial, and I mean
Sus.
Fiji. The game finished with Fiji and Wales 22. So the guy knocked the ball in the corner. So it was a cruel game, as they say.
Listen, I don't know if this is cock sources, but supposedly that ref was born in Wales, but he was noted down as an Irish ref, but supposedly he was born in Wales.
Brr.
So
Okay,
that's a
yeah.
bit, yeah.
How would you
Oh
guys
well.
think? Because I've always tripped on this. Like, for example, even in the Premier League, any referee really, how are you actually going to find out whether or not there's some sort of bias? How would we
Right.
possibly get around that bias for in refs? Because how do you know that I'm refereeing an Arsenal Man United game? How do you know that I wasn't a boyhood Manchester United fan or a boyhood Arsenal fan?
Yeah, I don't know if you would be able to. I haven't heard of that. Like, I haven't heard a lot about, who ref support. So I think
Mm.
at this, in a certain level, they keep it undercover in soccer. I know in rugby you can't officiate the country you from or you were born in,
Yeah.
but I think in soccer it's a good question. I wonder how many of them actually support the teams they rep.
And who's checking up? Is there someone's job? Because in my opinion, there should be someone's job to actually investigate all the refs and make sure that they have no ties. And personally, because I was my when the game had just started and the ref had started making some shitty calls. For example, when that one Fijian, I think he was the prop, and they were on the try line. He was about to
Mm.
score and he knocked the
Yeah.
ball on, but just before there were like two Welsh shoulder charges, and I was thinking to
No
Mm.
myself
arms.
like, yeah, with no arms. So I was thinking to myself, but this ref sounds European. So
Mm.
because he's European, he could have uh, an affinity
Bias.
towards a bias towards the European teams. Why didn't they have an African referee in
Yeah.
here who's not
Or
from
even
either of the continents?
even a French ref, I think would have been alright. Like
No,
a
Yeah.
UK ref is a bit
no.
sus.
Yeah,
I,
definitely.
I
Why
think
must you
I
get a
think
ref that's from Ireland?
it must be from a different continent completely, because they could still have an affinity towards countries from their region. Like if I
Yeah.
wouldn't have, let's say it's Samoa versus Wales. I don't think there should be a Fijian ref, because that Fijian ref
Yeah.
may want to see the Pacific Island teams do well against the European teams. I think it should be an African ref or an Asian ref.
Luke, I
I
don't
don't
know
even
if
know
you
if
picked
there's
it.
African ref.
Jaco Piper. Jaco Piper is the only one South African guy that went over.
Okay.
That's a part of
Sure,
the
only
refereeing
one.
panel. That's
That's
what I was
that's
about to say. Ask
surprising.
you now. Have you noticed that the number of top referees it's a very small number, and they're reusing the refs. Like, you have two linesmen, and then you have the main referee. So I
Mm.
think it was on Saturday. Yeah, the main ref on Saturday was the linesman on Sunday in one of
Yeah,
the
that is
Sunday
crazy.
games. So that shows you that they haven't got enough refs or a bigger pool to choose from in terms of the refereeing, which could also play into a situation like yesterday.
And how big?
Yeah, I
Because
guess.
I was told that obviously now Portugal, there's teams like Portugal in the World Cup and stuff. How big actually is that? Because I'm imagining it's huge. How big is the quality difference between a team like Portugal and let's say a team like France?
It is huge.
Like I
It's very
assume
huge.
worlds apart. Then
I mean,
how
if
is
you
that
look
even a
at
competitive game?
if you look at the World Cup, there's 20 teams in the Rugby World Cup.
Mm.
I think there's probably six, if I'm being generous. There's six teams that could win it. Um, if you look at the Soccer World Cup, there's 32 teams, I think, in the World Cup, which already shows that there's a bigger number of, teams competing. But there's probably 8, 9 teams that could win the World Cup, the Soccer World Cup.
Mm.
So again, it comes down to participation in the specific sport. Uh, Soccer is obviously more widely participated in and widely supported. So you're always going to have that quality throughout the world. But rugby, for instance, there's always those 6, 7 teams that are going to be the main ones, and gap between them and the rest is quite big. It's really quite big, but it is
And
closing, I think.
and now, based on the
Mm.
way, obviously, the groups are set up and how the pools work, who could we potentially get in the final?
So the interesting thing is the teams from our side of the draw. I'm going to name the big four. So it's Ireland, France, New Zealand, South Africa.
All
Those
the big
teams
teams.
will, yeah, those teams will meet each other in the quarterfinals, but then they won't meet each other in the semifinals. They could only meet each other in the final again. So if I have to
Okay.
give you an example, let's say South Africa and New Zealand make it out of the quarterfinals. They'll play the teams from the other side of the draw. So they'll play
For
the
semi.
Englands, the Australias, Argentina. Yeah. And then if they win that semifinals, they'll meet each other in the final.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we
So
could
then
see
it's
a New
good.
Zealand, South Africa final.
Okay. But everybody's assuming we're probably going to see the France versus SA or Ireland versus SA.
No, we won't have Ireland versus SA because we're in the same group.
It'll be a France. Most
Oh.
likely France. Unless, yeah, if Ireland beat us,
Mm.
then we'll
If
probably.
Ireland beat us, then it's France. Then it's France. But if we beat Ireland, then
Okay.
we'll most likely play in New Zealand.
I would.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we can beat France, man. I don't. I honestly think New Zealand's the only team that can beat South Africa at a World Cup.
My concern with New Zealand is that they're going to get better in the World Cup. I don't know how much better France is going to get. So I agree with you there.
I think
Um,
France is gonna get an off game in the knockouts, and that's
yeah,
where I want to play them.
yeah. No, it's true, true. I get what you're saying. Either way, it's going to be tough. Either way. But if you deserve the World Cup, deserve to win the World Cup, you have to beat the best in order to be the
Mm,
best. So it's
there we
fine either
go.
way. So
Listen,
that's
we have
17 minutes on the Rugby World Cup. Yeah,
it's the first weekend of the Rugby World Cup.
yeah.
But we have some questions. Shall I visit some of our questions on the YouTube?
Shoot.
Okay.
Yes, I saw
So
some of it earlier. So it looks
so one is
interesting.
my 2 cents on going back to an ex. I feel like besides the rare expectations or exceptions, sorry, that I've witnessed with others, it just doesn't work out. Obviously, Keenan is one of the exceptions. I feel as though that the relationship was there to help us grow in a way, and when you try to go back, no matter how much you have grown, a person may go back to the default settings they had with that partner. And I think that's true. It's a very big possibility of that happening, especially if one grew from that relationship and the other one didn't. The triggers will be there, and unless both have grown and have reconciled the past, it doesn't really work. I guess we can agree on that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to add on to that. I was obviously the exception,
Mm.
but in my view, there's a lot of people that stay together or go back to the exes because of comfortability, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship. So you'll always end up going back. You might try the field, but then, relationships are always difficult in the beginning. If you think about people that have kids together, they always go back to the baby mother or the baby father. And that's because of that comfortability or just, knowing that person, knowing that you have that connection. So a lot of the times it's not good to go back to that because you're going back
Mm.
for the wrong reasons and you're going to, like that person said, you're going to fall back into the same routine and same problems that you had before.
Yeah. Okay. Then moving on, we have a yes, Keenan. We all know that you are married. We don't want you to bite.
Listen, listen. If we playing the Keenan bingo, if we playing the Keenan bingo, I didn't say that. First off, that was the comment. I'm still waiting for the T word when I can use the T word.
Never again. Never again. Okay. Okay. So the next one is Okay, here we go. Here we go. Do you find that you seek validation from others because you invalidate yourself? That one was actually posed to me, which I find interesting because I don't remember mentioning that I invalidate myself in the last pod.
I think it was when we spoke about how you talk to yourself. I don't think you said anything like you talk badly to yourself.
mm,
It was probably
I
just
think, yeah,
a
just a
general
question
question.
directed to you.
okay, and then being inspired by while it continues to say, being inspired by others' success has a positive effect on oneself, as opposed to comparing. That comes from not feeling inadequate as a human. I
Mm,
assume they mean feeling inadequate as a human and seeing
mm,
yourself as fully capable of anything you desire. You are your
yeah,
biggest competition. Okay.
for sure. Yeah, I'm talking a lot, but I
No,
agree with
good.
that. I know last week we said we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people and
Mm-hmm.
other people's success, let it get to us. But
Mm-hmm.
that's in the sense of being, jealous or envious of someone else. I have a friend who is an entrepreneur who takes massive risks and who just puts himself out there and believes in himself 100%. And he's seen a lot of success from that. And I've applied that to my own life. I think I've applied that to joining this podcast again. I've applied that to starting like my rugby TikTok. Just putting myself out there and being confident in myself, and it's inspired by someone like him who, just goes, puts himself out there, puts in the hard work, the dedication, and believes in what he does. So, yeah, it's all about how you take those influences from people around you.
I think because Luke and I actually had a further conversation about comparisons actually this weekend. And I think that, I mean, normally comparing has this negative connotation to it. But I think you can positively compare yourself to someone and negatively compare yourself to someone.
Yeah.
If you have to positively compare yourself to someone, let's say it's someone that is in a similar or let's say they are in the same profession as you. You know, you guys are in the same career path, but let's say they're just a lot further ahead. You could negatively compare yourself to them and be like, "Oh, they have this, I don't have that. They earn this much money, I don't earn that much money." Or you could positively compare yourself to this person and be like, "Okay, cool. This is one of the best in the world or in the company at what they do. This is where I need to get to, but you could call that comparing or inspiration then. But this is where I need to get to in order to be one of the best, in order for, you know what I mean, in order for me to compete, this is my target." So I think that's in order to be the best, you need to know who you're up against. So
That's the important part with what you're saying is
mm,
the how do I get there? It's not
mm,
about looking at the there. It's looking at the steps that person took to get there. Because if you're looking at the final product, you're gonna miss those steps prior to getting to the final product. But if you're looking at that friend and comparing, let's say comparing in a
mm, mm, mm.
positive way, the comparison needs to be what steps is that friend taking that I'm not taking in order to get to the
Mm,
final product.
yeah.
100%. So it's all about, I guess, the spins we want to put on things. You know, I mean, anything can be spun in a negative way. And then there's the final one here that I want to touch on is leadership. So the question is leadership. What about the psychological aspect of it? Like equipping a team with mental tools that they can use when dealing with setbacks in the moment, almost like sports psychology, like I mentioned this weekend. I feel like goals are there to create purposeful actions and give one direction. Intentional living, perhaps, keeps one present. The journey is a beautiful thing. So I think they're touching on like sports psychology.
Yeah.
Luke, that's your field of
No,
expertise.
like, no, like, I wonder, I 100% agree with it. It's just the challenges that I personally face with that is sometimes getting the players to, how can I say, be on board or to see your vision. And I think it's a lot to do with trust. So, and also depends on the age gap. I think a lot of the kids, especially at high school, maybe don't have the maturity as well. Because you can set up goals for them, but they don't necessarily see the wisdom behind that. So along with the hand is up.
I'm going to come out with fighting words, and I'm going to say then that's your fault as a coach. I'm going to say that I think that if you feel like the age gap is too much, then you as the coach, it's on you to find the tools and figure out how you can meet them at their level so that you can find a way to inspire them and get them to want to achieve these goals.
Yes,
Don't you
100%.
think?
But I think it's something that's still new. I think at the high school level, because these
You're
kids
talking
are
about sports
still
psychology.
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know of any high school teams that have a sports psychologist or a mental skills coach. I think that's something that only comes in at the professional level.
100%, but we don't have to remember what Bobby used to teach us. You don't have to be a professional to train like a professional. So I'm not talking about actually getting in like a sports psychologist to come talk to your players. I'm talking about maybe you can see that a player's comes to training and he's always tired. Or maybe you see a player losing weight and you're like, oh, is this guy eating 3 square meals a day? So it's like maybe pulling those one or two aside and, building, because you said there's no trust there. So trust takes time. It takes conversation. You need to find that middle ground where you can relate to them and they can relate to you. So I feel like because you're at high school level and you don't have the resources that a professional team would, normally in situations like that, the one person there then needs to wear many hats. He needs to be the sports psychologist. He needs to be the coach. He needs to be the fitness and conditioning coach. So, of course, because think about it like this: the Premier League players, the average Premier League player is what, like 22 years old. The average Premier League manager or coach is what, 50, 60 years old. That's a bigger age gap in between you and your high school players.
Mm.
So I think it's all about finding the medium.
Yeah, and along with that is, I think, also to make sure that the rest of the team, let's say the coaching staff, is on the same page. I've also, let's say if I were to compare it with the fitness industry, I could give advice or give direction to a client or a particular player, and then the next coach or trainer could give out something different. Then there creates that confusion and that doubt. So I think that's actually the most important, is if we're all giving the same message, then the player or the client knows how to work towards the goal.
True. But I guess that would also boil down to communication.
That's very interesting because you're talking about high school kids, but that applies to adults as well in the corporate world. Consistency in the message that's being given. I think both of you make very valid points. I'm going to jump on the fence and just say it's a medium between the two. If you're talking about adults, you obviously have to take accountability for your own career. You have to put in the effort to get to where you want to go. You have to be bold enough to talk to and connect with the right people in order to assist you to where you want to go. But at the same time, I agree with Nathan. The same thing he said to Luke. If I, as a manager, if there's a sort of a lack of morale, or there's been a morale dip within my team, it falls on me to try and get the team back up again. Even though they're adults, even though you come into work to do what you need to do. But I need to make sure that the morale and the drive within my teams is at a point where they can operate successfully and operate at their best. So yeah, I find this conversation very interesting and definitely some things that I'll take on board. I think that was a good comment from whoever put that down.
It was Carisha.
Carisha.
Nice.
Carisha strikes again. So I did want to ask you guys this because I've been dealing with this week. So it's something that I thought I'd bring up on the pod, and that is trolls. Why do they exist? Have you guys dealt with it? Keenan, I'm sure you have now, especially now with your rugby videos.
Yes,
So-
yes.
So, what do you think is going through these people's minds? Like, why? Also, do you potentially think it's somebody that you know that is now hiding behind a fake account?
Could possibly be. For me, every time I get like that sort of message, like a trolling message, I always go to the person's account. And 99.99% of the time, the person has no pictures, no content, fuck all on their page.
Oh my word.
So
Same.
I'll take a bit of accountability. I'm a very sensitive person, and it doesn't take much for me to clap back at someone. But
And do you?
that's what I'm gonna get into now. In the beginning, like this whole TikTok journey for me has been it's contributed to my growth because in the beginning, because of my personality, I responded all the time. But then I started to think about it. I started to look at these people's pages and try to see the motive behind the comment. And I've realized that I was focusing more on the negative than what I was focusing on the positive. I wasn't replying to the people that were saying, I like your content or giving me like being encouraging or interacting from a positive sense to the comments. So the thing with trolls is they always want to they what did you say earlier, Nathan? Something about terrorists.
Emotional terrorist.
They're emotional terrorists, and their main goal is to break you down as a person. So why give them the satisfaction of even engaging with them or even giving them a response? So that's how I've dealt with it.
So the conclusions that I drew about trolls. First of all, I googled the term because I wanted to know exactly what being a troll is. So it's actually being an online bully in a nutshell. And everything that you mentioned, no profile picture. It's not their name. It's a fake name. They haven't posted once, but they constantly posting shit on other people's things. So my assumption is that these people are, first of all, they're not confident enough to have their own picture up there. They clearly don't have much happening in their own lives, and that's why they're finding the time to talk shit to other people online. So it's actually gotten to the point where I've started to feel sorry for these people. Now, don't get me wrong. You said you're an emotional person. So am I. But now I feel like social media has made people too comfortable with saying exactly what comes to mind, and they think they can say anything to you because it's social media now, and I can't hit you in your face. Because if this was 10 years ago and social media wasn't around, and you came up to me and said half of the things that these people say online, I'm gonna punch you. But now people don't, they're not afraid of these things because they don't even exist. They don't even have an identity online. They're just hiding behind this profile. Go ahead.
So on that, I thought of the same thing. And unfortunately, I have to disagree with you because at the end of the day, if we apply a certain approach to the Kardashians, then we have to apply.
Ooh,
Don't know what happened there. I'm by no means
Don't know what
saying that
happened there.
we.
yeah. You said
There we go.
Kardashian, so you got kicked out of the pod.
That's a good one. Probably. But yeah, it's like I said, I'm by no means saying that we the Kardashians, obviously not. But
Mhm.
the reason why I use them as an example is just to say that if you put yourself out there on social media for the world to see, for people to comment,
Mm.
unfortunately, it's like an unofficial contract that you sign. You need to take the good with the bad. So that's how I look at it. It's like, yes, what am I going to say to this person? Because the only reason why they can comment on my stuff is because I've put a video up of myself and of my opinions. I need to, if I didn't want that, or if I wanted to prevent that, then I shouldn't have put up the video. You get what I'm saying?
I do get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. Um, it's still hard for me to accept though, just simply because half of these people wouldn't say no. I would say 98% of these people would not say the things that they say
It's not
to
right.
anybody
It's
in
one.
person.
Yeah, it's 100% not right. But I mean, we know that there's some fucked up people in the world, and unfortunately, if you put yourself stuff on social media, because it's not back in the day, because back in the day when you voiced your opinion, you normally voiced it in public or around people, and then if someone said something cuck back to you, you punch them in the face. But now we're on social media and it's out there. I wanted to
But
ask you. You
mm,
mentioned something about what if it's someone you know that has a fake profile?
mm.
How would you feel about that?
So the reason why I brought that example up is because I recently one of the people that has been trolling me and it's now increased in recent times um, is somebody that I know. I picked up that it's somebody that I know. And this person that has been trolling me and they make like really shitty comments, they won't respond to personal messages I send them, even though I can see they've read it.
Oh, no,
So
no,
they
no,
don't respond
no.
to my personal messages, and my personal messages are nice ones in the sense of like, how are you doing? How's this going? How's that going? So clearly, if I'm sending you a message, I clearly care because I'm not wasting my time sending a whole bunch of people messages saying, how's this going in your life? You know what I mean? So I send this person messages, they read that, don't reply, but find the time to troll me online. And I'm like, and I don't
I
know how,
need
yeah.
I need more context. I need more context. You saying
You know, this isn't
you
Patreon, so
personally.
I can only give so much context. But what do you
Yeah,
want?
yeah,
Yeah.
we're not gonna give away too much. So
Mm.
the person that's trolling you, do you know their real name?
Now I believe I know exactly who it is. Yes,
And the personal messages that you send in, or you send in that to the troll account.
yes,
Why?
because I figured out who the troll is. So I started sending messages to the troll because I now realize I know you.
So the
And
things that you ask about how's things going in their life, is it stuff that you seen from the social media page, or is it what you who you think the person is? So you're asking them to sort of indicate to them that you know who they are.
second one,
Yeah, I think
So
the latter.
the
you're
second one.
fishing.
So
Or
things that only that person would know that I know, I send. But it's like but this is why. When they first started trolling, I was like, "Who is this person? Like, why are they like making these shitty comments?" Then the comments got like very specific, and I was like, "No, wait. The way this person is commenting, this person knows me, and the knows the people. They even mentioned Juicy by name, so I was like, okay, this person knows me. So because Juicy's not on social media, so I mean, he's on Instagram now if the ladies want to follow him. Anyway, so I was like, okay, maybe this person's just joking, even though we don't have that type of relationship where we banter this way, because I'm not out here commenting on their stuff in the shitty way. If I was to make a joke, maybe I'll say it to their face, but I don't even do that. So anyway, after a while, like of them trolling me, but I would call this person and we would have conversations like, but not through the account. through normal. So I don't know if they know that I know that that account is theirs. But now, obviously, since I've sent the message, they must know that I know.
That's
But they don't
very
respond.
interesting.
But they don't respond on that account.
That sounds
Sure.
trippy,
And I
man.
haven't called the person to be like, yo, but isn't this you?
I think you should
If
do
you
that.
are the person, if you are the person, comment in the comment section why you're doing these things. Let the rest of us know what's going
So
on at home.
it's been a weird trip for me, yeah.
I want to, I don't want to divert off it, but I want to expand on that topic. You
Mm.
saying that you obviously know the person, so you must know a bit about their life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that the way people treat you sometimes is maybe based on things that's going on in their personal lives? Like, I don't know if the word's projection or if it's just like,
Mm.
transferring that negative energy that you going through in your personal life to people around you. Have you guys experienced that? What's your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Especially when that thing is negative. I think, because I was trying to make sense of this troll. I was like, okay, clearly there's something going wrong in their life. Clearly, this is more of an indication of them than it is of me. So clearly, they're struggling with something, and that's why I said, like, I started feeling sorry for the person because I'm like, yo, like, you can talk to me, right? You realize you can actually come to me and we can have a conversation and we can deal with whatever you're going through. I'm here. You don't have to deal with this in this negative way. Like, it's almost like misery loves company. Like, I'm not happy, so I'm gonna fuck up your day now.
Do you
It's
have a bit of forgiveness for them or a bit of grace for them?
100%. 100%. Yeah. Like, I was advised to rather just block the person and move on with my life, but I'm like, I can't just do that
Hmm.
Why not?
because, like, I care. Because I actually care, and that's what makes the whole situation worse for me is that I care about the person, and we may not be as close as we used to be, but I care, and I still love them. So it's just like why are you hurting me? Like, I've never
Yeah.
done any. I've only ever been good to you. Why are you hurting me? Like, stop.
Do you know what?
But this is on
I
the troll account.
What? Are you confused, Luke?
No, man, I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the blocking, like, just block the troll account
oh yeah, I
and
get what
then
you're
still
saying.
keep whoever's number it
The real
is,
person.
keep that private interaction
Yeah, I
separate.
probably should. I probably should. What were you gonna say, Keenan?
So don't block the real person, just
What were you
I
saying?
First off, to answer that question, don't block them. Let me tell you why. Because a hater is a fan that doesn't know it yet. So that's how I like
oh
my
my
look here.
word.
I had a troll last week. Yo, this man was blowing my comment section up. And I was like, yeah, keep going, man. Keep going. You just added to my engagement. So yeah, don't block the trolls. Um I wanted to say,
You want to tell us what he said?
I can't even.
No,
This
no,
this
we
guy
don't
was.
repeat what trolls say. No, no, no.
I have a rugby
Okay.
TikTok. This guy was talking about South Africa
Okay,
being a piece of shit
I'll check it out.
country,
I'll
all
check it
that
out.
stuff. And those all other things.
Oh my
Um,
word.
in terms of people that are going through things, do you know what I appreciate? I appreciate if you have the self awareness to know that you're going through that thing, and to go to your closest friends and look for comfort and look for advice. But if you're going through things and you know you're not going to be positive, you need to take time away from social media, and you need to take time away from socializing in any sort of format. Like, don't go out with friends and stuff if you're not in that good space. And I respect that so much, because one, you know yourself and you know what you're going through. But two, you also thinking, even in your most difficult time, you thinking about other people as well. And
Mm.
that's super commendable. And I really think that's the way people should approach it.
Because I've been in a situation with a friend who was in a shit place in their life, but for a long period of time, for an extended period of time. But then they never took the time to deal with their shit, and they never took the time to maybe distance themselves from the friends. They still came to all the gatherings, they still came to everything, and sucked the energy of the group dry every time. And it's a bit selfish, because it's one story. It's like it's one thing to be like, guys, I'm struggling, I need your help. Can we help? Maybe we need to go out. Maybe I need a good time to get my mind off things. Yeah, yeah.
Or it's another thing to be like, guys, I can't see you for the next. I can't be around you for the next couple of months. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to come to your birthday. I'm not going to be able to come to your anniversary party or whatever the case may be. Because you, as a friend, you feel that. Like, you feel, my brass canceling on me all the time. But it's different being that person that goes to all of the events, goes to the birthday, and creates a fight with someone at the birthday party, or
Or
creates an argument with someone at the anniversary.
not even as deep as creating a fight. But let's say they're just in a negative mood, and now your celebration doesn't feel like a celebration anymore, because person B here is just walking around saying, God damn, there's this cloud over us, your petrol's going up now, Eskom ain't worth shit. Like, they just complain about everything in life, and we're like, we know all those things. We don't need you to come here and spread the negativity. We have enough of that in our life. We have load shedding.
For sure. Definitely.
So I've experienced that, and sure, it's not a vibe, eh? I've
Spe-
actually
uh,
had to cut
uh,
that by the knees.
I realized that this is friendship therapy also. So, how do you guys feel about friends canceling plans that they have with you on more than one
Depends.
occasion? At what point, like after how many cancellations do you bring it up? Oh,
It
we
depends
lost
on the
Luke.
reasons. It depends on the reasons. You know, it depends on. It depends on, like, are we talking about they don't feel like going anymore, so now all of a sudden they're canceling? Or are we talking about, let me just keep an eye here, make sure that Luke's not trying to get back in? Or are we talking about, like, you know,
There's
real
valid
life,
reasons.
valid reasons? Because that changes it. If the friend has a valid reason, if for example, the friend and their partner share a car and they don't have access to a car, valid reason. If the friend is maybe having a tough month financially, and they can't afford to, maybe we're going out to the club, and they can't afford to be drinking in the club, and that's something that they enjoy doing, so they know that if they go with, they're not going to have as good a time, and they don't feel like asking the friends for a handout that night, then,
Mm,
valid reason. If the friend is in a serious relationship and the friend's partner really wants them to be around that night, as the friend, you need to also be like, yo, um I know what it's like to be in a relationship, and sometimes you need to put your partner first, because that's the person you wake up next to in the morning, and that's the person you go to sleep with at night. They need to come first sometimes, if not most of the time, you know
I
so
agree with you 100%.
it
And
all
the thing
depends on
is,
the
like,
reasons.
obviously, we went through this, but I thought it would be an interesting topic. But I
Mm-mm.
mean, for sure from my side, like, I fully understand. I won't hold it against you or anything like that. But I have the same sort of answer for your topic as well.
Mm.
What do you do, or how do you feel when your friends don't include you in plans? And it depends on the reason. Like,
uh
sometimes you have a certain plan with someone, because, and only that person, because either the partner that friend comes with, or the situation that friend is going through at the time, and that they, like, need that one-on-one conversation.
mm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's
Was I
my answer.
just straight up answer? Listen, we've already covered that I'm an emotional being, right? So I don't consider myself to have lots of friends. So the ones that I consider my friends, I invest in, and I expect a reciprocal amount of investment. So, so if you're not going to include me in a plan, there better be a good reason, and I would like the reason to be at some point to be communicated with me so that I don't feel like I've been left out. Because, for example, let's say now we're talking about Yuki, and let's say use the three of us as an example. So let's say
We,
Luke.
not let's say we probably are talking about.
No. You'll see now. You'll see now why it's an example. So let's say you and Luke have a braai this weekend, and I don't get invited. But then after the fact, I find like you tell me like, yo, Nathan, I know you're emotional or you can be sensitive. So I just want to let you know, Luke really needed to talk about something and he wanted a one-on-one. So I'll be like, okay, no, cool. I understand. If that must not happen 3 weekends in a row and he just wants one-on-ones the whole time, I'll be like, now it's starting to feel like I'm being excluded now. But like if you guys need a one-on-one, cool. For example, let's say I'm closer to you than I am to Luke, and it's Luke's birthday. And so, and Luke invites you to his birthday and you guys go out. I even though I'm friends with both of you, I know that it's not your place to invite me because it's Luke's birthday. So if Luke doesn't invite me, then I guess I need to reevaluate how close Luke and I actually are. But it's not something I can be upset with you over. But I am someone who could potentially be touched, but only if I see a pattern emerging. Not if it happens like once every while. No, I mean it's not going to be once off.
Or if the conversation is had with you, like you said.
Exactly. So I mean, I think through communication, anything can be resolved, but the right type of communication.
Luke, how do you feel about being excluded from your friends' plans?
So for me, can
I just expand on that? Can I expand on it? Because obviously, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know that Nathan and I go out to clubs and those sort of things a lot more than you do. So obviously,
Yes,
there's
of
been a
course.
lot of times where you found out that Nathan went out to a club with me. I don't know if Nathan's like said to you, Luke, I'm going out to the club. Do you want to join? But let's say, for instance, he didn't. How do you feel about that?
I don't mind that at all. I think maybe like a couple of years ago, like a few years just after high school, I would have felt some type of way about it. But I think now I'm sort of becoming a different kind of person. So my interests are changing. So and what's I find it amazing is me and Nathan, just now to play on this example, like we never actually sat down and had the conversation. It felt like it happened organically. So
about not clubbing anymore, really.
Yeah, so specifically with regards to clubbing, my interest just changed. I found a partner. I settled down. And I had my own reasons for clubbing. So it never got to the point where, and I think maybe Nathan asked me like once or twice, and then he got the picture. But like if I were to find out you guys went out last weekend to a club, I'd be completely chilled with it. So I think it just where I'm at in my life now, that's not so much an issue. And also having different kind of friends in different circles. You can't see everyone. So at some point you're going to be excluded from an event. So it's like you just choose which group you want to chill with and to do what. So yeah, it never really affected me not being included. I see you have a question there on your mind.
Yeah, it's actually coming to me now, and that's the only word that can come to mind. But don't you think that is a bit selfish from us from a personal perspective? Because, I mean, Nathan hasn't gotten the picture yet, but I'm never gonna join him on a hike at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like it's never ever gonna happen on the weekend on a Sunday morning. So if I find out that you and Nathan went on a hike at 5 o'clock in the morning and you guys didn't invite me, I'm also not gonna feel any type of way. So
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
feel like it's almost selfish that we don't feel touched when it's not when it's something that we don't want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like
Okay.
even for morning hike for me is a bit sus because I wake up early most mornings, so I'm more of an evening hiker kind of guy. So, but yeah, each to his own.
So two things I want to say. One, I haven't gotten the picture yet, Keenan, because you are always saying, "Yeah, let's do it, let's do it," and then when I invite you, then it's like you don't respond until 12 o'clock because that's when you're waking up on the weekend. Now all
Actions
of a
speak
sudden
louder
here
than
it's
words.
and so this is news to me now. Now, okay, now I get the picture. But then two,
No, invite me, invite me. I like the invite. Invite me.
you
Yeah.
see. But then, but two, I was about to say like, on to touch on what Luke was saying, and now to touch on your point that you also made, is that I feel like I like to include people, but I like to include people based on what I know they enjoy doing. So if I'm going on a hike, I will say, okay, cool, Luke's gonna want to go. If I'm gonna watch a rugby game or if I'm going clubbing, 100% I need to invite Keenan because that's how we bond well over going out and having a good time in that way. If we're just talking about a normal chill braai, there's going to be good conversation and we're going to have a good evening, then I think I'm going to invite most of my friends, if not all of them. I say most of them like there's a whole bunch outside of this podcast, but then all my friends can connect on that level. So I think, like, for example, with Juicy, if if we were going to get stoned and have a really good meal, like that's something back in the day, uh, Juicy and I would invite Juicy to, because that was our interests, especially
100%.
especially a couple
I
of
actually
years ago.
miss those days.
Yeah,
That getting that
it
getting
was a simpler
stoned, making a
time.
meal. Yeah,
Hey, those were some amazing
definitely.
times. Can you remember, like, we would um we would get stoned, but then we would like look up different ideas as to what Juicy could make, because now obviously Juicy was the chef in the
Yeah.
group, and then he would literally we would all, Keenan, just to catch you up, we were reminiscing for a second there. You were never a part of this because you obviously lived far, but we used to, back in varsity days, we used to get stoned with Juicy, and then we used to all like Google what we would like to eat, and then we'd all go to the store together. We would shop for that stuff, and then Juicy would make. You probably joined once or twice for when Juicy made one of those smet dates.
Mm.
It seems like something I would have liked to be included in, but I mean, I didn't get the invite. But no, I don't.
The question wasn't asked. Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. Water off a duck's back.
Listen, I want to ask you guys a question, because this is also something I've had to deal with. I would say recently, and that is people trying to force a friendship with you. So, like, let's say, because I'm not someone who likes to force things. So, if we're going to become friends, it needs to be organic. Like, I just want to one day realize, oh, I've been spending a lot of time with Keenan. Like, oh, I guess, I guess we vibe. I guess maybe we should hang out more, you know? But how do you feel about someone borderline demanding, like, more from you, in the sense that, okay, like, we should be friends now, and then like almost guilting you in a way into not putting in more effort, but you guys were never friends. Like, we all have a lot of acquaintances, but you were never friends to begin with. Has that happened to you guys?
I don't have an example of never being friends to begin with. I have an example of a varsity friend that I've just grown.
Apart.
Our friendship has grown apart. So,
Okay.
and I've been in that situation where they like forcing, again, back to our earlier conversation about exes. they sort of, holding on to those old memories and those old times that we had together, and trying
Mm,
to make like that's still the situation now. But
mm,
there's no benefit out of it, man. Like, all you're gonna be doing is reminiscing. We
mm,
can't try Skinners anymore the way we used to. All of those things can't happen. I can't sleep over at random places. I can't go
mm.
party every weekend. I don't have the time, that sort of time that you require. And it's like with every sort of friendship or relationship I have now, I'm getting to the point where I ask, what does it benefit me? Because just as much as I feel like I am a benefit to the people I have a relationship with, I feel like I need to feel that reciprocated as well.
I could not agree more. I think it was maybe a year ago or maybe even 2 years ago, I would say, where I started looking at my other relationships in my life, whether they are platonic or romantic, as like banking accounts or investments. And I need to see a return on my investment, because I know that if I'm choosing to have you in my life, I'm going to invest in you as a friend, as a girlfriend, as a partner. But I'm going to try my best to be a positive influence, to help you in any way, shape, or form. And I expect the same. Don't get me wrong. I don't expect the like my friends to be there for and fulfill my every need and be at my beck and call. But I need to get something out of the friendship. And I do feel like different friends play different roles in your life. Like, I have friends
Mhm.
that inspire me to do better in my career. I have friends that inspire me to just be a better person just because they're a very good person. I have friends that inspire me to be a better partner because of the way they treat their partner. You know what I mean? So not every friend has to inspire me to be a millionaire, or has to inspire me to be, someone that everybody else looks
You
up to. But yeah.
shout out to Juicy again. You had a friend that you were just
Have a friend.
comfortable. Have a friend. I'm saying had, like in terms of had,
Yeah,
he was here.
Referring
yeah,
to the
yeah.
past.
When Juicy was here, he was just the friend that you felt most comfortable lumming with, like probably not talking necessarily at all, but that you could
Mm.
chill with and just be around for an extended period of time. You know what I mean? So it's not like you said, you have friends that inspire you, all that stuff, and maybe Juicy did inspire you in a way. But I feel like he was also your rock in terms of, just having that person around you that is there, you're
I
riding
mean,
out.
you reminded me of something now, and this isn't the I don't only feel this way about Juicy. I actually feel this way about all my closest friends, and there are only a handful of you guys, and that is inevitably the way that life goes. Um, Especially if it goes according to plan, touch wood. Um, we are going to outlive our parents, right? So I feel like the friends I've chosen, and I've always worried about, like, for example, my dad's health. I mean, you guys are aware of this. And I feel like the friends I've chosen, especially now that the numbers have, uh, gotten smaller, and now it's like these are the ones I'm probably going to keep for life. And it's almost like, and I hope it doesn't get emotional or anything, but like, you guys mean so much to me, because I feel like I'm going to eventually have to say goodbye to, the older generations that my parents, for example. Let's just use them as the example. But my friends are my age, and these are the ones I'm going to get to grow old with. This is the family I'm going to get to grow old with. So I almost see you guys as like, once I do have to say goodbye to those people, the people that I love, my parents, at least I have this family. And this is family that I've chosen. Like, out of the billions of people on this planet, I've chosen these people to spend the rest of my life with. And I don't know, it's just you reminded me a bit about that when you said Juicy was the one that I was the most comfortable chilling with. Besides that, like, you guys are the ones I don't know if I'm explaining it right. I don't know if I'm getting a little bit too emotional about it, but yeah, that's for me. And that is why I do not easily call people friends. I think I have a lot of acquaintances, and I have a lot of people that think they're my friend. They're not. They like my friends are the ones that know me.
Damn.
Damn.
It's a lot. That's
Mm.
hectic. Eh?
Sorry, guys, that was a bit deep.
No,
But
but
it's good.
It's good.
But now you guys are silent now.
It's a lot to take on. But yeah, I like you too, man. I think you're cool.
He does want to hear that, man. You must tell him you love him.
Yeah, I wanted to work on his nerves. No, but it's real. That's some real talk, and I mean, I feel exactly the same. You know, those sort of hectic moments in life. It's a lot to go through when you go through it, but it's really good to know that you're gonna have people that support you and that's gonna be that comfort for you because it's a reality. It's a reality.
And these are things we all have to deal with, and it's just good to know you have that support structure.
support.
I'm sure Drake has said something in one of his songs about, you know, love the crew. You're not going to
Yeah,
get
the
anywhere
people,
if you don't have the crew.
the people that he started with is still the people that's there at the moment, and he doesn't trust anyone else but them. But speaking
Speaking
about
of
loving the
which,
crew, this weekend are we on or are we off?
I say we're on.
I should say we're on. I should say we're on. Luke was
Oi.
just talking. Luke was just talking about he doesn't club and stuff anymore. Now it's twice in the space of a month. So yeah,
No, but
Yeah,
I
I'm
won't
getting
hold
reckless
Luke.
now.
I won't hold Luke to it. If Luke wants to join, by all means. But do you want to join, Luke?
Um,
ooh,
let's see. If the weather is good this week
because the
and
club is outside.
there's some nice cookies available, I might just explore.
Look at
No,
that.
but
So yeah,
the music was good at the club, so yeah, took me back.
Also, the
so
Waving
yeah,
Club is super different. It feels very different to the way it used to feel.
for
Obviously, we
sure.
go in
And
there with different intentions, so that's the biggest reason why it would be different.
I also think if we have a solid pre game this time, we had a good centralized location where the vibe is liquor. There's no sort of a lot of admin and stuff like that. We can just
Yeah.
chill, take it easy.
Yes.
I think there was too much traveling around and all of those sort of things the last time. Like we walked 2 kilometers, I think, in our clubbing clothes. So that's not
Yeah.
like that's not the normal start to a night.
Yeah. No,
But
there was a lot
yeah,
of
for the neighborhood, the guys are touching road this weekend. Stay tuned to the socials, my social, because I'm the only one that flicks it up in the jaw. But yeah, it was a solid pod. Have you guys got anything else on the docket?
anything else on the docket. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good for this week. I think I will be a little bit more prepared next week. I think it's been
Lots happened this week, I could
it's been
tell.
very busy. It's been very busy my side, so I haven't even had a chance to think about the pod, to be very fair.
But that's why I'm here to carry it in the times where you cannot. So that's us, guys, from myself, Keenan, Nathan, and Luke. Thank you very much for listening. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate the support. Keep commenting, drop those questions that you might have for us. And yeah, until next week, stay well, stay blessed. We out.
Peace.